Hi everyone, it's Cindy and welcome back to Studioloo. Today I have a journal flip through for you of The Giving Tree Reimagined. So this journal is built inside a vintage book cover, this lovely green, and I've used the cover of an old copy of The Giving Tree by Shel Silverstein. On the front I sort of collaged a couple parts of the book cover to just make this smaller, nice book plate page. And then all along the spine are silk leaves and a silk flower and some little French knots that I stitched into the center of the blossom, and this is actually stitched right down into the spine. This journal has 3 signatures and a closure that is bound inside the book binding itself, and it's this lovely vintage red seam binding. So this book, this is a story that I sort of grew up with, and I liked aspects of it, but I felt like other aspects of it were kind of like not, I don't know, like just not really how I'd hoped that the story had played out. So I reimagined how the ending could be. So when you open the journal, you'll see that there is this beautiful paper. This is hand dyed by me. This was a very happy experiment that I wanted to try to create some sort of apple type paper for this book, because in case you don't know, this story is basically about an apple tree who grows up alongside a little boy, and they spend their life, their childhood kind of together growing. And as the boy gets older, the tree sort of sees him go through many different milestones in life, you know, growing up, becoming a teenager, and then becoming an adult, and then someone who's looking for a home and a family, and then becoming a very old man. So as in their young lives, they got along very well, everything was great, everybody was happy. But then as the boy's life became more complicated, when he was an older man, he needed to make money. So in the story, he sort of goes through these phases. First he takes the apples from the tree, then he takes the branches, and then he comes back wanting a boat, and he cuts the tree down completely, and the tree just allows for it. It's kind of like a weird yeah, it's kind of a weird way to show commitment. It's kind of like giving everything until you have nothing left, and I think that that's the lesson that Shel Silverstein was trying to teach. The one that I'm trying to not necessarily teach, but I guess just further, the message is that we can be better, we can be environmental, we can do things in a different way that's more sustainable for everybody, including the plants and the animals on the earth. So anyhow, that's why I say this is reimagined. So the journal starts, I printed this beautiful apple paper. These are the end papers for both of the ends of the journal, and you'll see a fabric binding here. This is a cute little poem called If I Had 2 Apples. So I should also mention the underlying theme is apples. This is a tag that I made from the book page. It says, "And the tree was happy," and I added a little blossom here and the tree rings of a tree, and on back more of the apple paper that I dyed. And then this is just a little vintage image of a lady picking apples. And here we have another little verse called The Apple Tree. It's very cute. It says, "I stood beneath the apple tree. The apples were so good to see. Very high above my head, I saw them shining round and red. A robin sang a tiny song, and after I had waited long, a fairy in the apple tree threw an apple down to me." And love this hue of this paper. It just makes me very happy. This is the title page of The Giving Tree, and one of the nice things about this book actually is that it lends itself very easily to being made into a journal, because it has a lot of just white space and it's just black line illustration. So there's a lot of writing space in this book. I didn't, want to over complicate it. So then there is tea dyed shibori green paper with some nice lace down the side. It's green and white. And then this is apples, apple blossoms, another little children's verse here. And this is a tag that I made from the original book. So this is like when the boy is a teenager and he's kind of like falling in love, and it shows the branches kind of like holding hands. It's quite sweet. And then a little cat kind of being naughty in a basket of apples. More of the apple paper and tea dyed paper. Once there was a tree, and the tree was happy. That's just a journal card, some of my hand-dyed green paper on back, and I just made this little apple out of my dyed papers. And there's a little, two little girls sitting in an apple tree there. And this is actually a vintage file folder. And then more of my apple dyed paper. This page is tea dyed with this little tab that I stitched on. And some nice red construction paper. And then this is a book page, and I just collaged this tree with handmade paper and these little fabric leafy branches on both sides. And the little boy, the leaves are falling down and the little boy's catching them. And then this is some of my hand-dyed paper in green. This is handmade paper. Oops. And he would gather her leaves. There's a file folder. And the tree was happy. And this is another little page from the book that I backed with apple paper. And she loved the little boy. Another little belly band with a little journal card, and these two little girls carrying a basket of apples. More apple paper. And some tea-stained scrapbook shibori paper. And this is a vintage image of a man reaching up to a woman who's sitting in an apple tree with a basket of apples, and then a mother and child picking apples. And this is a journal card made from the original book page. And I've inked around all of these journal cards, you'll see, with like red and green, like light appley green. And this is just a little bit of the apple paper collaged onto a book page with some nice ribbon on the side. Oh no, sorry, the ribbon is on the following page. This is a flip out of the little boy and the tree playing hide and seek. More of my apple dyed paper. And the boy loved the tree very much. And this is a pocket. It has a little verse by Katherine Jackson called Ripe Apples, and it's on more of that lovely apple paper that I used for the end papers. And every day the boy would come. And then this little image of a girl carrying a basket of apples, just a couple journal cards in there. And then paper clipped on with a vintage brass paper clip. We have when the boy's a teenager and he's kind of standing behind the tree, and the tree was happy. My green dyed log paper. And this is a little flip out. So at the back we have a book page with the apple and some apple cores down here, and then Nan Fry's little verse here about apples. And this is a journal tag called Our Tree. And then this little image of a girl smelling an apple. And when he was tired, he would sleep in her shade. Some green construction paper, some tea-dyed paper with another of those tabs, handmade paper, apple dyed paper, green dyed paper, more apple dyed, and eat apples. That's a book page. And they would play hide and go seek, and there he is hiding behind a rock, and the tree's reaching out for him. And then he's sleeping behind the tree. More of these dyed papers. And the handmade paper, tea-stained paper, green construction paper, and swing from her branches. And more of the apple dyed paper, and there's a verse by Mary Graham Bond called Green Apple Morning, and it's on green apple paper. And then this is a cute little verse I found. Oh, I ate them all. And oh, what a stomach ache, green stolen apples, cheeky. And it made me think about childhood and how you would, you know, take things off of trees and eat them like fruit trees. I know I did that because I was bad. And would climb up her trunk. There's his little shoes. lace on both sides here, and this is a little pocket, this little girl with a basket of apples on my apple paper. And this is the book plate with handmade paper on back of the giving tree, and then this little boy with his little school or shoe shine kit and an apple there. So these are very old images. And over here, more apple paper and a flip out, and the tree was often alone. Then one day the boy came to the tree, and the tree said, "Come, boy, come and climb up my trunk and swing from my branches and eat apples and play in my shade and be happy." "I'm too big to climb and play," said the boy. "I want to buy things and have fun. I want some money. Can you give me some money?" "I'm sorry," said the tree, "but I have no money. I only have leaves and apples. Take my apples, boy, and sell them in the city. Then you will have money and you will be happy." More apple paper, and then another large journal card of the boy with a partner behind the tree. But time went by, and then we have a little sticker up here. It's a man with a basket of apples, and there's a little flip page over the page kind of side flip journal card just from a book page and some apple paper on the red construction paper. So these both just actually, this one just kind of flips over, and this goes on top and clips in. There we go. And then I just tuck it on this side because why not? And then more of my green dyed log paper. This one has nice marbling about it. Then this paper is really fun. It's actually like a plasticized paper, and it's in a bandana pattern, which I thought was like suiting for that kind of farm apple orchard feel. And it has a little pocket here with a girl and a boy picking apples from a tree. This is a journal card made from the book page. And then clipped on with a vintage brass paper clip here. I just wrote here what might have been, and it shows the tree cut down and axe. And be happy. And it has the old man looking at the tree. And then this is some coffee dyed paper. And this is a pocket with a boy carrying a basket of apples on the tea-dyed shibori paper. And then this is a little picture of the tree, and I drew a little face and a little branch. And then some leaves on the back. So it's just a great journal card. Some handmade paper. And my dyed papers. This is the boy as a younger man looking up into the tree. And then a double spread of him climbing the tree and grabbing those apples. And so the boy climbed up the tree and gathered her apples and carried them away, and the tree was happy. And then it flips out again. But the boy stayed away for a long time, and the tree was sad. Then one day the boy came back, and the tree shook with joy, and she said, "Come, boy, climb up my trunk and swing from my branches and be happy." More dyed papers. More handmade paper, tea-stained shibori paper, and paper clipped on with a vintage paper clip on the other hand, and it shows the little boy again and then the tree on the back. More of my coffee-stained paper with a little tab I've stitched on. This is the bandana paper. It's very nice and translucent and plasticky. I like it a lot, actually. A little verse about apple pie by Edward Lear, and then this journal card. More of my, pardon me, dyed log paper. And then a paper clip, another vintage paper clip holding this journal card made from the book page. And make them into crowns and play king of the forest. It's talking about the leaves. More of my dyed paper. And this is where we begin to reimagine how the story ended. "I'm too busy to climb trees," said the boy. "I want a house to keep me warm," he said. "I want a wife and I want children, and so I need a house. Can you give me a house?" "I have no house," said the tree, "but the forest is my house. But you may again collect my apples. This time, keep the seeds and plant an orchard of trees. This will give you a way to build a home, and will also build a life for your family and create a family for me. Then we will both be happy." And so the boy collected the apples and carried them away to begin his study of apple farming. Although he could have taken the life out of the giving tree by taking her branches or cutting her down, he realized if we all acted that way, that the world would be no more. He didn't want to live as his ancestors did, but instead wanted to build a sustainable earth for his children and grandchildren to come, and everyone was happy. And then this is my hand-dyed paper with some lace on the side. And then this is the pocket at the end of the journal. And this is made from more of my dyed paper with this beautiful apple blossom image, some ribbon, a verse, if I were an apple, and then it is again backed with that same end paper. So inside here we have this little note from me, that's the note from the bookmaker, and then this large journal card of this girl picking apples. So I'm really happy with this journal and how it turned out. I think it's very sweet. It's a nice little journal, good for, you know, taking with you on a little trip, or, you know, writing under an apple tree, who knows. So thank you so much for joining me. If you're seeing this video, that means that the journal has been posted in my Etsy shop. You can find me on Etsy as Studioloo, and you can find all of my links to everything, including my shop, down below in the description box. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today while we reimagined the giving tree. And to those of you who are story purists, I totally understand. I love you too. I just had to make this more hopeful. I hope you understand and forgive me. Have a great day. Bye for now.